What's up, guys? Welcome back to Build Cool again. As you guys can see, there's no dirt bike project this week. We're going to do something a little bit different. So I've gone ahead and decided that I'm going to dig into my stash and pull out another bike. So that way I can make a little progress on this thing and it can get some much needed attention since all it gets is beat on all the time. But before we get started, let's go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so we can keep on building cool. And while you're at it, be sure to turn on that post notification bell so you get notified every time one of these episodes drops. So this one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try to break up the other build and we're going to alternate between this build and the dirt bike build. So every other week we're going to go back and forth. But I'm going to try to shoot this one a little bit quicker and try to get us a little bit ahead. So this episode will be pretty much the normal time frame, but then the next episodes you guys are going to start seeing are going to be a little bit filmed in the past at the point they come out, which will help me take some stress off my shoulders and such. So with all that being said, let me go ahead and get everything set up and introduce you guys to the bike. Let's get started. Alright guys, so this here is my 1978 Sears and Roebuck Free Spirit. It's basically a rebranded Pooch, but I call this thing bike. It's pretty much all my leftover parts from my Pooch Magnum build. I had so much laying around, I decided if I bought a frame, I could build a whole nother bike. And at first when I built it, I had the little stock engine on it because I've got an extra, but it just kept dying and having problems. So I went ahead, and as you can see there, that's a Lifan 125 on it, and it has woken this bike up. It's a lot of fun to ride, but it has come with its own problems. Unfortunately, she has so much power that the whole back of the frame has twisted to the side. It also doesn't help that I've rolled this thing ass over front so many times. She's had a hard life, and she definitely gets ridden like it, so we're trying to fix that now. The whole goal of this episode is going to be to go ahead and try to make this bike a little more legit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the motor. Right now it's mounted with just some brackets that I made to adapt the stock mounts to the new mounts on the motor. Now it's time to cut the frame out and get that motor in there so she can sit right. Then hopefully that will relocate that carburetor there that you've seen in one of the shots. We can be able to move the motor back, get it away from the tire, and that will allow me to get the front fender on. I want to be able to ride this thing when it's raining out kind of all season and quit putting so many miles on all my other bikes. And with the cheap little Chinese motor, it's kind of earned my respect. I know that thing can take a beating and keep on eating. So we're going to try to make this thing rideable so I can use this as my daily, kind of be able to open up some more projects for us. So let's go ahead. we're going to tear into the electrical system, try to identify if there's any power coming out of anything, so that way maybe we can get some lights on it, and who knows, we'll try to get the motor out of it. There's quite a few things to be done. So with all that being said, guys, let's get started. So we went ahead, tested the wires, and got the motor pulled out of this thing. And through testing all the wires, I was not able to identify any power coming out of anything. So I'm going to have to look at some diagrams, see what's going on here. Maybe we'll be able to make some power out of the motor, so I won't have to run a battery. But if not, worst comes to worst, we'll just run a little battery pack off an RC car, and then we'll be able to power all our lights. So, since we got this all pulled out, I figured this is as good of a time as any to call it a wrap for this episode. So then next week, we'll be back at it with the dirt bike, and then we'll be back to this thing, getting that motor placed in there right, but we're going to have to figure out straightening out that frame. I don't think it'll be that hard. I think once we cut out some material for the motor to go in, the frame will be weak enough to where we'll be able to bend it by hand, straighten everything out, and then we can start bracing it all back in. But before we get out of here, let's go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so we can keep on building it and bringing you cool Pooch 125 swaps in the process. So with all that being said, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace!